Hi, the Green Report here with 8 environmental news stories you may have missed in May 2021. Let's dive in. Number 1. Cyber attack shuts down major United States pipeline. Early in May, the United States suffered a cyber attack shutting down the Colonial Pipeline, which is described by one analysis as the jugular of the United States pipeline system, which carries gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel from Texas to New Jersey and supplies fuel to much of the Southeast. Operators of the Colonial Pipeline said they are in the process of bringing the system back online, but there was no indication of when that would happen from either company. Officials or outside experts have explained sustained outages could have significant impacts on fuel supplies along the East Coast. The Department of Transportation declared a state of emergency for 17 states plus D.C. to help ease fuel shortages that have been seen across the East Coast region. Number 2. Cyclone Tate impacts India. Over in India, Cyclone Tate hit the west coast region of the country, already severely impacted by the coronavirus pandemic. Quote, Cyclone Tate, which formed in the Arabian Sea, moved northward along India's western coast, bringing damaging winds, heavy rain, and the threat of storm surges to the state of Gujarat, prompting evacuations from low-lying communities. Cyclone Tate is the first named tropical cyclone of the year in the region, as Tate reached peak intensity as a Category 4 storm with 140 miles per hour winds. It's the fifth strongest tropical cyclone on record in northern India's Ocean's Arabian Sea and is one of only 6 Category 4 cyclones on record in the Arabian Sea. Number 3. California expands drought emergency across state. Back in the United States, California's governor has, quote, expanded a drought emergency declaration to a large swath of the nation's most populated state amid acute water supply shortages in northern and central parts of California. The declaration, expanded by Governor Gavin Newsom, now includes 41 of 58 counties, covering 30% of California's nearly 40 million people. The United States Drought Monitor shows most of the state in the American West is in extensive drought, just a few years after California emerged from a multi-year dry spell. This comes after California's worst wildfire season on record as, quote, the expanded declaration of the drought includes the counties in the Klamath River, Sacramento-San Joaquin Delta, and Tulare Lake watersheds across much of the northern and central parts of the state. The Sierra Nevada snowpack, which provides about a third of the state's water, was at just 59% of average on April 1st when it is normally at its peak. The fear of more wildfires this summer and fall are common as officials are beginning to warn California residents to conserve water for an exceptional dry year. Number 4. Lake Charles, Louisiana sees record daily flooding. Quote, torrential rain fell across portions of southeastern Texas and southwestern Louisiana on Monday, May 17th, leading to dangerous flash flooding across the region. Rainfall totals were between 7 to 14 inches, and flood warnings were issued for western Jefferson County in Texas, as well as for eastern Baton Rouge Parish, and for eastern Calcasieu Parish in Louisiana, which includes the city of Lake Charles. The National Weather Service described the situation as particularly dangerous. By the evening, Lake Charles had seen more than a foot of rain, prompting Governor John Bel Edwards to issue a state of emergency. Those in the region had this to say about the situation. They said, quote, the only time it's flooded like this in the last little while was during Hurricane Delta, and even then it took all day to get this high. This flooding follows a record-breaking Atlantic hurricane season in 2020, with this particular region being hit by 2 hurricanes last year. Number 5. 2021 Atlantic hurricane season prediction. Following the last story, NOAA has come out with its 2021 Atlantic hurricane season prediction, and it predicts it will be an above-average season. Quote, if forecasts are correct, 2021 will be the 6th consecutive year with a hurricane season more active than normal. While less active than last year's record-shattering hurricane season, NOAA expects 2021 to see 13 to 20 named storms. The 2021 Atlantic hurricane season follows the historic 2020 season, which had 30 named storms and the United States being hit 12 times. Troubling signs are already emerging in the western Atlantic as sea surface temperatures are above normal in the northern and central Gulf of Mexico. Waters in much of the Caribbean and tropical Atlantic are also warmer than normal or around normal. And on May 22nd, the first named storm Anna formed in the Atlantic near the island of Bermuda, but it never hit land. Hurricane season officially starts on June 1st and won't wrap up until November 30th. Number 6. Philadelphia birds. A strange story out of Pennsylvania, as nearly 20 buildings in Philadelphia are dimming their lights this spring after thousands of birds perished in the city's largest mass collision in recent history. This story has to do with light pollution, as migrating birds collided with skyscrapers during their seasonal migration patterns. Quote, "The voluntary measure has been coordinated by Birds Safe Philly and continues until May 30th with the purpose of sparing the lives of some of the 100 million birds passing over the city on their semi-annual migrations." Continuing, quote, "Fog and rain, which are quite common in spring and autumn, force birds to fly at lower altitudes, and when they see the bright city lights, they are often dazzled, disoriented, and confused." Number 7. World's largest iceberg broke off. Quote, "A massive chunk of ice broke off Antarctica late May, and it is now the largest iceberg in the world." The iceberg, known as A76, was first spotted by a British Antarctic Survey researcher May 13th. It was then confirmed by the U.S. National Ice Center the next day using images from the Sentinel-1A satellite. The iceberg first broke off from the western edge of the Rhone ice shelf, which is located in Antarctica's Weddell Sea, according to the European Space Agency. Continuing, quote, "Researchers sought to put the formation of A76 in context, saying that the forces that severed it from the Rhone ice shelf were part of the shelf's normal lifespan and may not be directly related to climate change. However, the iceberg will not add to sea level rise as it melts. As floating ice, it has already displaced the same volume of water it will add as it melts. But it does bring attention to the concerning issue of sea ice loss and glacier loss in a warming planet." And lastly, number 8. Congo volcano erupts. In the eastern portion of the Democratic Republic of Congo, there was a volcano eruption of Mount Nyiragongo on the night of May 22nd, sending about 5,000 people fleeing from the city of Goma across to the nearby border into Rwanda, while another 25,000 others sought refuge in the northwest in Sake. There are fears of a second eruption looming as earthquakes and tremors hit the area, prompting fears of lava erupting from underneath the city. Benoit Smits, a geological hazards expert at the Royal Museum for Central Africa in Belgium, said, quote, "A new fissure could rip open at any moment. We have a very active volcano with a very dense and populated city at the foot of the volcano, so there is a huge risk of a disaster." Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to the Green Report for more monthly recap videos on the environment and the climate crisis.